Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast number 294. This edition of Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. Axon Tire has got a really good promotion. They actually got two good promotions going on right now, Aaron.
You don't say.
Two. One is if you send them an email at marketing@axontire.com, they'll send you what I like to call probably a good covering. Get it? Okay, but they are some deerskin gloves.
There you go.
All right, get a pair of deerskin gloves, put those suckers on, whatever.
Cozy.
Whatever you're handling,
Yeah.
keeps your hands nice and soft.
There you go.
And on a cold day, somewhat warm.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Right.
Like if you're walking from the pickup to the shed,
right,
they'll keep your hands warm.
So this is the first one of these we've done since.
But they're so supple.
They are.
They're supple.
They're soft.
Good skin on them gloves.
Yeah. This is the first one he's done since the 2022 Moving Iron Summit, just the two of us. And Axon's doing something pretty cool. The first 150 people to sign up for the Moving Iron Summit for 2023, September 11th through the 13th in Nashville, they're giving you $50 off of your registration fee.
Well, that's badass.
It's pretty cool. So
that's like a scholarship
of sorts.
Oh yeah, it's recruiting season.
It's like that scholarship that you get. That's basically your beer money fund. You know what I mean? Like,
we bought your science book. There's the field.
Yeah. So anyway, check that out.
That's terrific.
Go to the website. Go to MovingIronLLC.com. Go to the registration page. Get signed up. If you're interested in coming to Moving Iron Summit, which everybody should come to that. I think it's well worth the time. September 11th through 13th in Nashville. Use promo code AXON down at the bottom, and you get $50 off of your registration fee. So well worth it to even do that even more. So first 150 people, come get some.
Nashville, Tennessee, not a different one.
That's right.
There you have it.
All right. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
No matter how you buy ag equipment from a dealer, auction, or private party, AgDirect can finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. And to learn more about your financing options, go to agdirect.com. TractorZoom has access to over 20 billion in heavy equipment sales data. TractorZoom's Iron Comps is the industry's trusted solution for transparent equipment values and auctionable pricing insights also.
Outstanding. Finally, this podcast is brought to you by Anvil AppWorks. Their Dealer Connect CRMI app with integrated inventory management is an affordable Salesforce-based solution for your dealership. Create connected customer experience and transform how you work today.
There you have it.
All right. If you notice me and Aaron, we're banging it out here in our red shirts.
Hey!
In support of the
all kinds of official, baby.
In support of the Washington State. No, not Washington. What's that?
Cougars.
What's the one?
Wazoo, baby.
Now, what's the school in Washington that's got the red field?
Oh, Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington. That's it.
The Eagles. Yeah. I think. Their mascot's a bird. I think they're the Eagles.
I would assume that's a pretty safe bet. I'm sure they're not the Meadowlarks.
Maybe they're Cardinals. The mightiest of all migratory birds.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway,
Bearcats aren't real.
Well, I mean, they are. Actually, at one time they were.
No, they're not. You have a cat or a bear.
But at one time you had a bear cat. So anyway. This first one of these we've recorded since
Coon's age.
Man, it's been back in August.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. It was back in August.
It actually was. It's October.
Yeah. So it's been a little bit.
I got you to miss a whole month.
Something like that, So I think today, Aaron and I have been kicking around some concepts and some ideas and stuff that we want to talk about. And I think there's two that we're going to talk about for sure. But one is, Deere had a short stint in the mill where the interim Tier 4 engine came into play, and they didn't jump from Tier 3 to Tier 4, final Tier 4. They went Tier 3, interim Tier 4, Tier 4, and there's a batch of machines that came in that realm. Now, most of those machines all fall into that 2012 to 2014 model year mix that we talk about. I think 2011 was the first year for the
Correct.
Tier 4 Tier 4 engine, and there's never been
Second half of 11.
and the second half of 14. Depending on what it was, second half of 14 for something and early 15 for others.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it kind of depends on what it was, but I think 4-wheel drives had a cutoff, combines had a cutoff, row crop tractors had a cutoff, you know, so on and so forth. I think they just now, you know, small, like compact utility tractors had a different cutoff altogether.
Right.
So something there. So I think kind of thinking about what that looks like and how did that play, how that factored into what we see happening now in the used equipment marketplace. I think for the overall market, just because of where it fell into the mix at, to me, it was just an oversaturated marketplace that just buried itself in used equipment.
Right.
And we'll never really know what the interim Tier 4 engine did for the marketplace, because it went from a very even on the Tier 3 stuff. You know, if you're looking at the 30 series and the very, 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 very early first year R series tractors that were still Tier 3 engines.
Right.
All of that stuff was so overproduced, and then it even got more overproduced. And
I was gonna say its contribution to the marketplace is a boatload in 11, 12, and 13, and quite a bit less in 14.
I think so. So kind of looking at that, I mean, I've thought about that for a minute. And if you let's say that happened today in the market that we're in today, and you go from a Tier 3 to interim Tier 4 to a final Tier 4, and what would that look like, and how would that have the effect on the marketplace? Which I think that would be a year that you could look back on and say that was when this happened because of that particular engine, right? So, or that particular spec. So everybody has a, you know, oh, that's the whatever that had the you know, the whatever fenders, you know.
Right.
That's how you can tell what that engine, that model year was, this kind of thing. I think that it would have had a very distinct point in time for that interim Tier 4 engine, more so than what you saw happening in there, because there were so many of them produced at that time frame that it never really got its place at the table. Because even today, guys, like I'd love to have a Tier 3 engine. I want a Tier 3 engine.
Right.
But the only difference between a Tier 3 engine and a Tier 4 engine is it's got a bigger muffler and exhaust filter.
Which is why I affectionately refer to the IT4s as filter tractors.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Because now that we're 8 model years
right
into the fluid, all of a sudden them filter tractors are highly desirable.
Yeah.
They don't care about a filter, you know. Everybody's heard what it costs,
sure,
stopped regen, you know, all that kind of stuff. But they'll take that over the hassle any day.
Right.
And the negative environmental impact of plastic jugs.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So they had, I think when you look at those, kind of how that whole thing plays together, I just feel like it was a
but
generation that got skipped.
I know. Why do you say that? Like, what do you mean they don't have their place at the table?
It's just they don't have that affectionate, like
you're saying they should be like right now today, you would think they would be the 30 series.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you're thinking like when the 2015, 16, 17 final Tier 4 engines came out, there were a host of people looking for 30 series tractor.
Right.
Right. I mean, it was sought after, and whether it was an 8,030, a 7,030, a 6,030, a 9,030, it didn't matter what it was. They were looking for that. Today, you still have people looking for, I'd love to have a 1,500 hour, you know, Tier 3 engine. Wouldn't we all?
Right? Well, yeah.
Right? So I think when you're looking at that, to me, why I say that it didn't have its place at the table is just because everybody got one when they came out. From 2000.
Oh, okay. So the mystique
right
was hoard out. cheapened,
it's cheapened.
cheapened, if you will. I agree with that to a point.
Okay.
Until 19, maybe. I want to say about 19. That is when all of a sudden I want one of those.
Well, I think what also the other side of that too,
But
at 19.
that they're 5 years old right
Well,
then
yeah,
and there.
But the other thing about the 19 was the guys that had the 30 series that had 5, 6, 7, 8,000 hours on that 30 series.
Right.
They were trading down to a 3,000 or 4,000 hour
Yeah.
Tier 4.
Well,
and they were still kind of they still kind of had the same thing.
Here's my take, and this is not broad stroke, but it seems like there's no end to these magical 30 series that keep showing up with sub 3,000 hours, right? The filter rigs, I think it's harder. And here's why I think so. Because everybody's affectionate time period, the drought and $7 corn, that fueled that overproduction, the slug of the market. We all know that.
Yeah.
So at that time, you had your 30 and you were what? So that's 11, that's 2 years into $8 away from 30s. So the bigger guys, obviously multi-unit guys, they're on to year 3 of ours. The intermediate guy, the A- as dealer label, the A-, he's already on to his late model, low hour used one.
Right.
Okay. So at that point, the B customer bought a 30 and it's his planting tractor.
Yep.
He doesn't farm as much. That helps preserve that hour meter to a point. Whereas farmer A through Z bought a whole new fleet in 11, probably rolled it in 12, kept it in 13 till what, 17, 18, start seeing them come in. At that point, guys, and I know it's halfway ridiculous, but look at a 9 and a 14. Okay. End of 30, end of filter, 5 years. In that, with those filter rigs, they're the main tractor on the farm. 13 happens, they keep them, so you don't have that. They're the main rigs on the big farms. You don't have that.
You don't have the churn.
Right. You don't have the turn every time it stops and sits on a lot or goes usually to a smaller operation. You save some of that clock, and I think that's why, because of the downturn, the filter rigs stayed the main tractor way longer on way more farms than previously.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
that's just my
that makes
2 thoughts. That's probably 100% right, but whatever.
50% on each, get you 100%, right? So they have a
boys bet red and black.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, cover your bases.
I think if you had go back and look at what that whole thing feels like and what the whole thing looks like, I don't know that from an auction perspective, that if you had a 2000, if you had a 30 series, and we're going to use it in perspective of hours, right? So if you had a 30 series that was 2 or 3 years older than the IT4 engine that you had, machine, whatever that was.
Well, not to nitpick, but are we comparing a 930 against an 11 filter?
So what I'm going to say is, I don't know that you get a big difference in value.
You do.
Not an overwhelmingly big difference in value. today,
Today,
yeah.
You're right.
Then back then, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking like today though, today's marketplace where we're
Yeah.
at right now.
3 years ago, that 9
Yeah.
could have more hours and bring more than that
Yeah.
11.
1,000%.
That was kind of my angle because
Right.
it's just like the 97 70s.
Right.
If you got an 11 and the separator does not start with 2, crack your fingers, throw her on Tractor House, and just sit tight a minute.
See what happens.
They'll show up.
But I think having that particular point in time now is what I'm talking about, like their place at the table. Like there's no,
The mystique, no romance.
yeah, like
There's
it
no
just,
romance.
It just missed its, you know what I mean? Like they went to 3 different high schools and nobody really got to know it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
transfer portal.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
So what have you been? I've been the number 2 quarterback at 4 D1 schools.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if you had in today's marketplace where you'd have a very distinct lines of
Delineation.
not delineation, hard lines of where those models start and stop and how
Yep.
those years start and stop.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a completely different feel for that particular model of machine, that era of machines, right? The only other one I could think of that, because you would think like, for example, like a 10 series, right? They only made those for like 2 years, right?
2 years.
Right. But it's like,
It's sickening.
yeah, it's how many people.
The romance for an 8010 is the most sickening, obsessive. The 4440 guys cannot touch the 8010 guys.
And it's just that you would think that particular 4-year block of machines
Yeah.
would have that feel.
But let's look at it this way. Okay. So I'm going to turn the clock way back to 1961. No, I can't do that. 64. 64 to 72 is 8 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. 73 to 77 is actually 5 model years. Okay. 78 to 82, 2 years or 4 years. Okay. What is loved and adored by generations and generations? A 4440.
Sure.
When was it made? During that 4-year period. Right. We're just a little ahead of the game, man. They're gonna get there.
But
It's gonna take. There's just, you're right. They're losing their day in the sun because of numbers.
when the 4440 came on, it had a big splash in the marketplace, different cab on different things.
Right.
Don't play. That was
So did a 360. It's got filter.
that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not that, going into that 2000, that whole, technology is going to rule the world thing.
Yeah.
That
They were right.
that whole spiel about that, you did not get that feel for that machine that like you did other machines, other series. Like you did not get that. Yeah, it's an R series tractor, and now you can easily understand what the horsepower is by the last 3 numbers and blah blah blah, all that stuff. But you didn't get that fanfare for that particular engine because of what it was. And I think a lot of it was because
Unknowns.
all the unknowns that came with it,
Yeah.
what that looked like.
Horror stories from trucking industry.
That was about
and
it.
their pickups.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think that was the thing, but it worked out well for them. So, but I mean, it was just one of those things where
Here, you want to talk about mystique, and I know we're talking about the older
Panther twos.
We're talking about the weird older brother, the middle brother.
Right.
The tier 3 8R. Why is that not the tractor of all tractors?
You think
for eternity?
you would think that would be, that's again, there's another one that you get to make that argument like you never got its place at the table.
It's like guys always pick a 30 over that.
But it was because it was a blip. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even have, I don't know if they even had a full production year of those.
Oh yeah. The late, they actually started in September of 9.
Right.
Okay. They went till April of 11. March or April of 11.
I thought there was a cutoff in there somewhere.
That was March or April of 11 when they put the filter on. One of us is a tractor geek, one of us is not.
I was thinking that there's a hard drop off. You remember you had to look at serial numbers, not just the year
On the 8Rs?
on the 2 or 3 8R. And maybe I got my
I think you're thinking,
final tier 4.
yeah, IT to FT.
But there was,
It's to foot.
but to your point, I mean, that should be a machine that
Yeah, that ought to be
30
like,
series guy would be like, I don't get this one.
yeah. It's the exact same tractor with a way nicer cab.
Right.
And I mean, I don't have a 30 series cab. I would sit in one for my living room, but
Right.
that R is nice.
Yeah.
It's a real nice car.
They had if they could, you would think that would be another thing too. I just think that these were, I don't want to say that the 8R, the 8360R, 8295R, whatever, whatever, 8235R, all those machines, that final tier 4 engine, when they rolled out that new series, it just didn't, it wasn't like they made the splash that they made for the 2012. 2000, going into 2012 with the new 8R, you know what I mean?
You mean like the
Because like every year when they'd come out, when
there was more hoopaloo about the filter than the juice.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
I would
like we
agree.
go to all these intros and stuff, and there'd be like this big deal about the new series and how awesome it's gonna be and blah blah blah. And then you go to, it'd be great. You felt that in the 2012, but you didn't feel that then. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna share a little something with you.
Okay.
We're in the 30 series, okay? Red, blue, yellow, other red. Everybody's got juice. Everybody except us. Okay. Oh, we got a way around it. We got a way around it. The filter. Boy, that beats the hell out of that juice, doesn't it? Plus $7 corn. Here we go. Just crazy. Then 15 comes around and we got the juice anyway. But hey, look how far we stretched it, which is ironic because that was such massive production. So from that standpoint, I think that is why the juice coming out was not the hoopaloo of the filter. Because the filter was the first thing. Other colors have been running juice for a couple of years,
Right.
That was their, well, the EGR, now we got this, and
Right.
we're still good.
That makes sense.
I think that's why, but I don't completely. I mean, you're managing, I'm selling, so the just like national marketplace, I feel like they're starting to, and not just because of ridiculous market. They're starting to be guys that ask for that tractor.
Right. But you would think that there would be, it just never had its day. You know what
Well, I mean,
I mean now, yeah, you're getting it
either
now.
did 20s. Yeah, they did ILS.
Yeah. So I mean, and IVT, I mean, those things late
30.
late 20s, right? They had,
Oh yeah, like here, get rid of this hood on that 8530 and
Right.
put an 8520 on it.
yeah. So if you look at all that, I mean, those were things that were like everybody had their day in the sun except for this little niche right here, and it was like they were waiting for
55s.
55 series. Never had the day in the sun.
Oh God, yeah, they do. But it wasn't a lot of hoopaloo. Oh, we're going a day in the sun. Shit, man, that's Waterloo boy to now.
So that one little
Yeah,
4-year stretch
kinda, yeah,
never
it
had its
is.
day in the sun.
But either did and I get that. The people who create the day in the sun is my people. And we don't like tech. Okay. So I get it with the filter tractor. But that doesn't solve that 10, the 2010. Why is that not a Bandit Trans Am?
And I think
Because
kinda-
it's $100,000 still.
yeah. But I mean, I think the
I mean, no joke. At Crystal Ball, one of each in the shed. If I had that kind of cheddar.
I think the big part here with those engines were that they put those out and there was such a looming, the whole Wile E. Coyote with the
Right.
axe swinging over his
Like,
head
ooh, better wait and see kind of
and
thing.
just
Or
kind
what
of
do you
going back
mean?
and forth. But I think that Deere from a manufacturing standpoint had their eye on something totally different that they had to get figured out in a very short amount of time.
So do you feel like they have a negative connotation tied to them because it's a 8R cab on a 30?
No, I don't think that.
Like
at
when
all.
guys put sound guard cabs on 60/30s?
No, I don't think that's it. I just don't think they ever had the attention that every other series of machine that ever came out had. It's like you went from 30 series, and we've got these ones here that we're gonna prolong the inevitable to get to this over here. And it was just like that was like what it was. It
A
was like
stopgap,
it was a Band-Aid,
Band-Aid.
you know what I mean? It was a Band-Aid to get over this one hump, and then we're gonna have this over here.
360 horsepower Band-Aid.
That's right. Right. And it just feels like that one that it was just like almost a forgotten series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the
I
8R
know,
360
but
was still the same thing.
Just devil's advocating
Right,
here
yeah.
for the tractor geeks of the world.
All right.
I don't know how the 4440 is having its day in the sun since it came out. They sold a bunch of them, guys loved them. They sold a bunch of filter tractors. Guys loved them.
Okay, so
They're not old enough yet, maybe.
no, I don't think that's it.
As far as sales numbers, though, they had their
think
day in the
about
sun.
all the rollouts that we've been through. Think about all the rollouts that we've been through.
That's neat to think about.
Which one?
The one I remember the most.
Which 360R rollout do you remember the most?
I get it.
Yeah.
I remember the 8R rollout.
Well,
That was a big
I guess
deal.
the first 8R was the 8345R, right?
Right.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And then 12, they had an 8R. Yeah.
8RT, baby.
Yeah, they had the 8R.
Come on, two tracker.
360R. Yeah.
Right.
That was, but I mean, like, which one of those rollouts do you remember most? Do you remember the 360R rollout or do you remember the 345?
Yeah, exactly. 345. That was a big deal.
I don't remember that at all.
You don't?
No,
You were a speaker.
I don't. I wasn't a speaker.
Yeah, you were.
No, I was not.
Yes, you were. We traveled around to all the launches and spoke.
What are you talking about? When did we do that?
When the 8R came out at the different stores.
Oh, you mean like a customer event type thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
God, not like
Well, we talked about used
RFD TV,
equipment.
man.
We talked about the state of the used equipment market. That's what we talked about
When?
at those things. I wasn't talking about the bells and whistles on a 345R.
Well, you were part of it.
I was talking about the impact.
I talked about the RT. I thought,
No, so we had all this stuff going on, but it was, to me, I just feel like there was just that one time where there was one series of tractor, that series of tractor, right? Whether it's a 2010 345R or 2011 345R. The 1 year difference between those two and how this was tier 3, this was a fine enter in tier 4.
right.
Did not have the splash in the marketplace that other series have had in the realm.
Okay.
And that's
Their day's coming. Hold tight, filters.
their days are coming, but their days coming at 8,000 hours, 5,000 hours, 7,000 hours.
Oh,
That's when their days coming. And I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or indifferent, or that has any bearing on this conversation at all. But what I'm saying is that there is a big approach to when they came out.
Right,
The splash wasn't there that you have seen in the past.
right. I
In
get
that
it.
4-year period. And I really do believe, because I mean, how many guys do we have? Like, what am I supposed to do when I get to the tier 4 in? Or what's that going to look like? How's that going to affect blah, blah, blah? I don't want one. No, I'm just going to do, they were more worried about this over here than they were worried about any of this stuff right here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that's why the splash wasn't there. Because all the market, everything going on in the market and the parameters that we were putting ourselves in at the time.
That first year 8R is the last series new tractor I sold.
It's impressive.
That's a long time.
A
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
Been running from new stuff ever since.
All right. That's probably a good place to stop. Aaron, folks want to reach out to you, get more information about what you have happening. What's the best way to do that?
Oh boy. All the social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, by my name. Call me, text me, 308-760-1193, or email me at aaron.fintel, right, at MovingIronLLC.com.
Right on. And you can find me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. You can also hit me up on LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast. And you can find the video version of this at the ever so cleverly named Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel.
Well,
Look at that.
all day.
That's marketing. That's the best right there.
Oh,
folks.
it is.
So you can check that out there. You can also go to MovingIronLLC.com for everything Moving Iron related. And like I said earlier, if you're interested in checking out what's going on at the Moving Iron Summit, you can do it there. There's a Moving Iron Summit tab up there. Unfortunately, there's no information yet because I'm 2 weeks removed from the last one. So I'm still trying to work through all that and kind of figure out what next year's going to look like. But I got a plan. I would say in the next 30, 60 days, you can see some stuff up there that are going to have kind of an outline of what's going on there. But go ahead and get signed up and take advantage of that Axon, $50 off, and use Axon there at checkout, and you'll be able to get your $50 discount off of your registration fee. So with that, I am Casey Seaman with AARON Fintel. It's gonna be smart, folks. Out.
Moving iron in the 21st century.